Alrighty guys, welcome back to Balake's Fish Room. So today in this video I'm going to be starting a new series. We're going to be doing monthly updates on the fish room, so we're going to be doing all the way through 2022 and onwards, just to give you guys a little bit of an update and provide a month break between each of the aquariums, just to give a bit of time for a bit of progression. So yeah, without further ado guys, let's just jump straight into it. Happy New Year and welcome to 2022 with the Fish Room Tours. Okay, so the first tank that we're going to see here is the Black Nasty tank. So these are the Nandopsis haitiensis. They're the same family as the Nandopsis tetracanthus, and I kind of consider the tetracanthus, which are the Cuban cichlids, as a more hardy version of the Black Nasties. I just find that the Cubans are a little bit easier to keep. I have kept them in the past before I started this channel. So the Black Nasties are definitely a little bit more temperamental, but these are definitely my favorite species of fish to keep. So we can see this guy that's on the screen now. He's a gorgeous little, what I think to be, well, it's hard to tell, but it's got the body shape of a male or a female pretty much at this size. But then we pan across and we have a look at this one. So this one's really confused me because it's usually a good general rule of thumb that when they've got black in the top fin like this one does, that it's a female. But I've never seen a female of these, and I'm not a very experienced Black Nasty keeper, but I've never seen a female with a nuchal hump of that size, so I think that's absolutely insane. But we'll see if the male that's kind of dominating the tank pops his head out anytime soon. But there is one male that absolutely is twice the size of any other fish. I think here he comes. I might step back a little bit. But the male that we've got in here, he's probably about 4 inches long, and then this one that we've got on the screen, it's probably about that 2.5 inches. But 2.5 inches and looking like that, I think is absolutely insane. So hopefully we do get this male to poke his head out. Here he comes. So yeah, he's around that 4-inch mark, so he's growing way faster than the rest. The diet that I've got these guys on, it's a mix between just an omnivorous pellet, and then randomly I will just give them some Cichlid Gold pellets, and that's probably only once a week, but just to give them a bit of variety in their diet. And then maybe once a fortnight I'll give them some brine shrimp or bloodworms or something like that, just to give them a little bit of something tasty. But definitely with these guys, it is so important to keep the diets heavily rich in vegetable matter, otherwise their guts just get blocked up so easily and they'll get bloated and just die. I've lost, I think, $2,000 worth of these fish in the past 12 months. So yeah, really important to keep these guys on a really balanced diet, but a diet that's specific for them. So anyway guys, without further ado, let's get on to tank number 2. All right, tank number 2 is just going to be a quick one. This is where we're keeping the spare pair of the Maskaheros Argentea. So over this side we've got the male, who he likes to live in that terracotta pipe, and then we've got the female as well, which you might be able to see. There she is. She's just poking her head out behind that rock. So yeah, they're going pretty well. The female seems to like the male seems to hate the female. So I've got the divider in there just to keep her safe. And yeah, not much else to say, but we're just being patient. We're just feeding them every day, changing them water every week. Are you right, mate? Hey, what you doing? You having fun? All right, guys. Anyway, let's get on to tank number 3. Okay, tank number 3 is something really special. So these are a breeding pair of Petenia splendida, or the Bay Snook. So they come in a couple of different colors. So these guys are obviously the red variety, or they come in the green, and I think there might be other varieties, but I'm pretty new to this species as well. So if you got any info on them, I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, they've been in here for about 3 days and already a batch of eggs. I think about half of the eggs have been eaten. Not sure if by the parents or by their tank mate, which I will see if he pokes his head out anytime soon. But there's a male Festae. Oh, here he comes. So we got a male red terror because the main reason we cleared this tank out was because we wanted to keep Festae, we wanted to keep red terrors, and this male happened to pop up on Gumtree. So it was really quite by chance that I got all these fish, but I rocked up to the guy's house, and don't get me wrong, really nice guy, and he's got lovely fish, but the aquarium that he had them in was just way too small. Like a breeding pair of the Snooks, they need at least a 4-foot tank for this size, which they're in now, but eventually they will need to be in a 6-foot tank. And then the Festae as well, they need a 4 or 6-foot tank. But there was also a massive sin still in the aquarium, which was just beating the shit out of everything. So it was good. I might not end up keeping these guys long term, but I thought it'd be a good little project to. Holy, did you guys see that? Yeah. I thought it'd be a good little breeding project to have in the fish room while we're kind of getting everything sorted, but I think if we end up getting a female red terror pop up, then these guys might make a trip to the pet shop. But yeah, so here he comes. Yeah, so I wasn't actually gonna get any Festae, but when this male popped up, so you can see once he starts to go for the eggs, these guys start to flare up a lot. But they were tank mates in the last aquarium, which is kind of why this is working, and the Festae isn't very aggressive at all, so I wouldn't recommend doing this if you're trying to get like successful batches of fry. But the reason I'm doing this is I made the mistake once. I didn't quarantine fish, and I put one fish straight into a tank and it made everything else sick, and it ended up being the only thing that survived. So these guys came from a little bit of a small tank where there might be a bit of stress in their environment. So I'm quarantining them for a couple of weeks just by themselves before we get them into their permanent homes. So anyway, guys, let's move on to the next tank. Okay, I've kind of got to stand back for this one. This is the aquarium with the Marblefenestratus. So you can see here, there's a few of them that don't have the marble in there. So I've actually gone and bought myself a little group of 5 of the normal Fenestratus. And the reason being, and this little flagtail that's just growing out in here with them. But the reason being is, I'll see if I can get a close-up shot of the Fenestratus that I'm talking about. But one of them actually has a really crooked jaw. And to me, what that suggests when you're dealing with fish is that their genetics might not be very strong. So, especially in Australia where we don't get new shipments of fish very easily, which I've touched on before, the strains can get very diluted, or they can get very inbred. So we could have the parents of these guys could be brother and sister. So what I want to do before we actually get into breeding these guys and getting some really nice marble Fenestratus babies, I want to pair them back to a common Fenestratus or a normal Fenestratus to strengthen that line again, and then go again. So anyway, guys, there's not really much to update on this. They're really quite scared little fish, so I'll leave them be for now. But yeah, marbled Fenestratus, excited to see what they're going to do. Okay, and we're on the final tank for the fish room. So we're starting in front of the big bopper here before we get into the rest of the fish that's in this tank. So this guy's been doing really, really well. He's totally chilled towards all of his other tank mates. There's no sign of aggression or anything. I think he knows that he's the boss and that no one can really mess with him. So I'm really happy with them. I was a little bit doubtful as if this guy was a pure Trimac, just because I have seen a lot more of the Trimacs that have more of that triangular shaped predatory jaw. And I asked one of my mates, his name's Paul, and he's got a channel on YouTube called Big Fish Lad. So I'll put a link down in the comment section below. I asked him and I said, hey, do you know anyone that keeps Trimacs or has a bit of information, because I'm struggling to find info on these guys, and if there's different varieties out there or anything like that. So it actually turns out that there is 2 different catch locations that these guys are from, and I'll highlight that in one of my species highlight videos in the coming months. But yeah, they come from 2 different catch locations. So you get these guys, which have more of that square thick jaw. Look at him. Hey mate, where's he going? So they got more of this like square, thick jaw, whereas the other catch location has more of that triangular, predatory shaped jaw, which might just have to do with you know, their diet or the type of prey that they had to evolve with over the time. But yeah, other than that, guys, the other fish in here, we've got the marbled red devils. They're going pretty well. Nothing really to report on with them. Just seeing how they grow. Everybody's getting along really well. We've got a couple of the small geophagus that we've got going down here, so they're looking absolutely fantastic. And I think this guy is actually a hybrid between a convict cichlid and a blue eye. I can kind of see both fish in there, and it looks like neither. So we've got that, and then we've got this spotted leperinus. But other than that, guys, there's not really much else to report on this one. Everyone's growing nicely. Everyone's getting along pretty well for the most part. So other than that, I think we might get up to the Argenteas. Okay guys, so there is one other tank that I could show you, but it's just the Uva Heart Waggies. So I've just got 8 of those guys growing out in a little tank just on my bench. So I won't show you those guys. They're too scared, so they always hide away when I get close to the tank. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna end up keeping those long term, but we'll see, we'll see. So the update that I can really go on for these guys is, as you can see, the male and the female 2 months ago, they couldn't even be in the same tank together without a divider, and now they're actually hanging out really well together, which is the best thing I could have possibly hoped for. Just seeing this right now really gives me hope that, you know, in the next couple of years that we're actually going to see these guys develop into a nice bonded breeding pair, and fingers crossed eventually we get some babies and get some spawn out of them. So patience is a virtue with these fish, especially the Argenteas. But I mean, I'm glad to be patient. When you can look at this fish all day, it is just an absolute fantastic thing to see. I'm from Australia, and I've got these absolutely gorgeous fish from Mexico in my living room. So it's that's what I love most about the fish hobby. But yeah, guys, not much else to say. This has been the fish room update for January 2022. I'm going to keep them going. I'm just going to do a monthly update on all the tanks going forward, and then we might even do some species highlights and some species videos and everything like that coming in 2022. So anyway, guys, I really appreciate everybody watching, subscribing, liking, leaving comments, all that kind of stuff. But the main thing I really appreciate is some advice and tips and pointers from you advanced fish keepers overseas. So yeah, anyway guys, without further ado, I'll wrap this one up and I will see you in the next one.